Hey guys, we're out here with Bryan Veliz out at Range 35. We're talking gear. He's going to run us through what he's got, why he runs it. So Bryan, I'm going to turn it over to you. We want to know is what you run and how does your mission set dictate what gear you run?
Yeah, man, it's a good question. It's all really dependent on the mission at hand. So for me, full-time law enforcement, so it really comes down to patrol aspect, and I really try to keep everything streamlined. So from the patrol aspect to when we serve warrants to when I come out on the range and teach, I really try to keep it streamlined. That way, I'm efficient with the kit. It's easier for me, and there's no lag time between going from my belt to my patrol belt or to my patrol rifle setup. That way it's all streamlined, it's all the same, and those reps are where they need to be.
Yeah.
Cool. And so we have kit here, it's all kind of set up. Obviously we have TRIARC rifle, TRIARC handguns, Velocity Systems armor, and our patrol setup belt. And so let's start off with the TRIARC rifle 13.9. And this is also the patrol rifle setup that I use for patrol. Big thing takeaways on it, what I like to do, since I do a lot of low light, is I give students tips. If you can see here, right, we witness everything. So we'll witness mark the mounts, the irons, the safeties, even the weapon model light here, the front ends, anything that you feel that is important that could come loose or shift on you, we'll witness mark that. That way, obviously I can tell here that this is not connected to where it needs to be, so the light's not functioning.
Okay.
Right, so honestly, I just line it up, now I'm good to go, my light's working, and so forth. And the same thing with on the safety levers, right? I'll mark them on both sides, so as from a teaching aspect, as I'm watching shooters, you can clearly see that line break. So that's a good way to see students that they're engaging and disengaging their safeties as they need to when they're working on vehicles or moving around other people and so forth.
Gotcha.
So that's what I like to do on the patrol rifle setup. You know, witness anything that, again, you feel that could come loose. Irons, your weapon mounted lights, the mount itself, the mounts on the optic. Some guys will also witness mark their MOA adjustments and so forth. So it's really kind of how you want to play with that, that aspect.
Cool. Hey, a couple questions before we move on. So I see you got your optic further back.
Yeah.
Reason for that? I know there's a lot of guys, the old adage has been run it as far forward as you can without getting on the rail.
Yeah.
So you're running it further back.
So it's really user dependent. Some guys will run it near the front end, right? Some guys will run it in the middle. Some guys will run it to the rear and have their rear sight touching. For me, as I feel, since I especially run the stock all the way out generally, I feel mounting the optic to the rear, I feel that I have more field of view looking out of the tube, and I pick up less housing of the optic compared to if I run this optic forward or in the middle. Okay. And I also kind of feel like I perceive a little bit less recoil, dot movement through the recoil, mounting it through the rear. So there are schools of thought about it. Some guys, again, like it to the rear. Some guys will mount in the middle. Some guys will mount forward. It's really up to you, but I've had a lot of good success mounting to the rear. Everything has a pro and a con though. Only con is if you kind of do a lot of night vision and you're trying to get that tube behind the optic, mounting it to the rear may cause an issue with that, especially if you're not running your stock all the way out and you run it more collapse. You may not have that ability to mount that the tube if you're trying to use the optic for that. Okay. Yeah.
And I see you're running mod light.
Yeah, man.
What do you think so far?
I'm digging them. They're putting out a lot of great lumens candela. This is on here the PLH model, I believe. I also have the OKW, but I like them. Obviously it works really well running the Surefire fail-safe switch on it, so in case anything happens or the cord gets disconnected for any reason, I can still use this light. So something to think about on the low light aspect for your patrol rifle setup. I'm a big fan of pressure pads, so if I needed to do this ambi in any way, right, I can use this up top. Typically we have a few mounting positions. We have the 12 o'clock, we have the 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock. Then obviously, depending on your rail, you can, like here, the TRIARC rail, you can mount kind of in the 1 o'clock position or the 11 o'clock position, depending on what type of mount you're running. But me running a pressure pad allows me to run it both sides ambidextrously. I'm not having to readjust anything. The only con is, again, if this fails for any reason and I'm not running that fail-safe switch, then I can't use my weapon mounted light. Gotcha. So that's why I recommend running that Surefire, I forget the model number on it, but from here I can still activate it and my light is still functioning in case my pressure pad goes down.
Cool.
Yeah, man. that's basically the patrol rifle setup in a nutshell.
Nice.
Then we have the kit, right? We have the Velocity System Scarab. Very, very good kit for what I need it for patrol-wise and teaching. This is what I wear in patrol. This is what I'm teaching with. I keep it pretty slick, both sides. I don't run anything on the sides, especially on the right side, so it doesn't interfere with my draw. And for me, for what I need it for, have a med kit up in the front from RDR Gear. And then what you'll notice is I have the SNS Precision V lights.
Yep.
So any type of low light situation, teaching-wise, you can turn these on. They're Velcroed, so they stay on you. You can turn them on, and you'll have PID. Can't see it right now, but once it's low light, they'll light up. So one in the front, and then typically we'll have one in the back.
Yeah.
So that way we can keep track of students, instructors, or maybe doing any type of operations, and you're just trying to keep track of your guys, and you're not worried about low vis operations in a sense. We're just worried about making sure keeping track of guys on the range, on patrol, so forth. So that's a good way to PID. Or you can run chem sticks on your kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an option for you.
Cool.
Yeah. What you got?
What do we got in the bag right here?
Yeah, man. So these are the Magpul Docker pouches. I like these a lot, especially since every class it typically rains, right? Or it's
Typically,
typically
it always
typically
rains. I've yet to be to a centrifuge course that didn't rain.
I know, bro. I know. Right. So it's always, the cloud is always following. So typically I'll keep all my electronics here.
Okay.
So anything from, let's say you're running a lap for low light stuff, if you're
Okay.
just trying to do admin wise, you have a headlamp in here. You can also keep that in your kit if you want. Anything from extra flashlights, extra batteries, and so forth, you just keep that in there. So that way if it does rain, or generally when it does rain, that stuff is good to go and it's not getting messed up in anywhere.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what about your belt?
Belt, I'm running the Senshi belt from Ronin Tactics. I've had that for probably a good 4 years or so. It's held up for me. I'm a big fan of the inner belt system. That way the belt doesn't move on me or so forth. And I keep it pretty streamlined. We see a lot of guys come to class and they have either too much or sometimes too little.
Okay.
Some guys will have like 4 mags, right, of hanging mags, and then 2 rifle mags. And it's all just really mission specific, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I keep mine simple, so I have a tourniquet up front and center line, so if I'm doing any type of injured shooter work, it's right there for me, so I can get to it with both hands easily. I'll keep a little cloth here to wipe down optics or my lens, right? Little spuds, you can pull it out, easy. 2 mag carriers, all right. 1 admin one, so if I run a handheld light in there, if I run a multi-tool or just something, that's kind of an admin purpose, or run an extra mag if you like to.
Okay.
1 rifle mag, and then the Theorem cell volts, so running extra kit, extra batteries, that way you can stay online in low light.
Yeah.
So that's good, or you can keep kind of in the little miscellaneous stuff that you need in there. But I usually use that for batteries. A dump pouch for snacks, water, extra mags.
Snacks are important.
Snacks. And then a med kit that I can get to, again, ambidextrously from both sides. So
Okay.
pull this out from here, I can get to it either left or right-handed. I like kits that come off. That way I can work in front of me instead of the kit staying
Having
back.
to reach back,
back. Or kits that are just here, but then you have to pull out the insert. I don't like that. I like the kits, again, that you
Comes
can
every-
pull out
yeah.
from here and then work on forward.
And who makes that one?
This is from Coyote Tactical Solutions.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and this is their Stomp kit. And then obviously Safari Land Bucket. This is the RDS model. Good to go there. And that's pretty much my teaching kit, and this is actually a basic replica of my patrol setup. My patrol setup, though, is just leather.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Policy stuff.
Yeah. Typical department issued.
Department issued. But
Yeah.
it's the same replica as much as I can get it. So keep it, again, streamlined.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I see we got a Glock up here, and I see some eyewear. You want to talk to us about those?
Yeah, so big fan of the Oakleys, speed models. And I like the eyewear where you can switch to clears, to different lenses if you need to. So for, again, I have the clears here. So for low light, you see guys come to low light classes and they forget to bring clear lens.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, I can't see anything right now. I'm like, yeah, because you have shades on, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you're bringing low light stuff. If you're coming to low light class, bring clear lenses. That helps quite a bit. So you have all in here, and then have a little extra stuff. So a little extra spuds from Big Tex Outdoors, and then cat crap and so forth to clean the lenses. Put some anti-fog on there and keep them up and running.
Cool.
For that. And Ear Pro, just some basic Peltor's electronic. keep them marked. So I like to do a lot of like high vis again on my gear, so you can see the witness marks, or any type of mags. Same thing, we'll mark mags, that way you can see them. That way obviously also cops or anybody's kind of notorious on the range for borrowing other people's mags, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll borrow your mag and then eventually I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, I think I saw something on this mag.
Yeah, so if you go ahead, pull it out.
Is that
Yeah, so that's Mojo's mag apparently. I've held on to that for a little while.
Yeah?
It's giving me
go ahead and just hang on
quick
to that.
hands. It's giving me quick hands.
Yeah.
And so we
plus
mark
5
them.
on your draw speed?
Yeah.
Yeah, your split times are going down?
Yeah. So we'll mark them, we'll mark those, and that way we can just keep track of your kit. And then if you run any type of, this is just like glow stick right here, like just paint, high vis stick paint here. It's a glow in the dark tape. You can put that in your ear pro if you want, or on certain equipment like underneath your supplemental lights or your handheld lights. So in case you do drop them for any reason, you can pick them up, or you can at least see the contrast of that tape versus just it being black.
Gotcha.
Sometimes eventually the tape itself will wear out, and so it's not really glowing anymore, or it doesn't get enough sunlight for the day, but at least you can see that tape, the contrast is different obviously than just black.
Gotcha.
Right, so we'll run that on the Ear Pro too, same thing. And then just got a little P-Tech light here. All right, Princeton Tech. So if I'm doing any type of admin stuff and I'm not trying to use my handheld light, I can just click this on and I can check targets. I can do whatever I need to.
Cool.
Yeah, so little life hacks.
Yeah, for sure. You want to talk us through your Glock real quick?
Yeah. So I'm running the just TRIARC 17, right? G17 Gen 3 model, obviously with the Type 1 RMR still. Type 1 is still kicking.
Type 1 life.
Yeah. I have probably over, I don't know, 30,000 rounds over, like a lot of rounds on this. I've had it for years.
What is Dano's opinion on you running that Type 1?
He wants me to get an acro, but eventually I will.
Yeah.
But it hasn't broken on me. I've rocked it off everything. I've taken so many classes with it. It's been good. I've had to modify a little bit with the connectors and so forth, right? It's a Type 1.
Yeah.
But it's been good to me. Obviously a Surefire X300 1000 model, 1000 lumen model.
All the lumens.
All the lumens. Same thing here, as you'll notice, right? I'll mark them. Just have that little, in case it falls off or just something happens, or at least I know it's mine if I lend it to somebody. And then I'm running the Filster extended switches here, right? So that helps me a little bit, especially for injured shooter work when I'm rocking off that switch off the environment or off my kit. Those switches help quite a bit because it gives me a little bit more length compared to the stock ones. So as we'll take a look later tonight, you'll see that having those help. They're not a necessity per se, but they do help in some aspects like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's, G17.
Awesome, man. Well, let's put this kit to use. Yeah. We're going to get out on the range. We're going to run through, he's going to put us through a couple drills. I think we're going to do some low light, maybe some injured shooter. But yeah, thanks, man. Let's get to it.
Appreciate it, man.